All right, so here we've got the same idea where we're working on the functions unit, but these are allegedly a little bit harder. Remember that there's not so much calculating that we're doing, it's more interpreting. So you have to read very carefully the information that you're given. Okay, so let's do this. There we go. So the height of a plant, h, is a function of time in days, t. So that means that I'm going to write h of t. The inside number is going to be days, and the outside number is going to be height. After 5 days, so I know I'm putting 5 inside parentheses, the plant was 3 centimeters high. That is all I have to do. It tells me the height is measured in centimeters. I'm using the letter h. It tells me the time is days. I'm using the letter t. 5 days goes inside. 3 centimeters goes outside. The letter h tells me I'm talking about height. The growth of the plant, next question. The growth of the plant can be represented by the function h of t equals 0.8t plus 1.2. This looks a lot to me like an mx plus b equation. So I know that the 0.8 represents the slope, and the 1.2 represents the y-intercept. But this is not quite good enough. That is not explaining what it means about the function, about the situation. That is just making the first step, where you're connecting it to something you already know. We already know mx plus b. Now we have to say what that means. Slope of 0.8 means the plant grows 0.8 centimeters each day. So writing down just that 0.8 is the slope. It's partial credit, but we need you to make sure that you connect it back to what the situation is talking about. 1.2 being the y-intercept, again, part of the problem. But y-intercept means the starting value. So the plant starts at 1.2 centimeters tall. There's different ways you could say that, like when it was first measured, it was 1.2, something like that. Okay, part D says find h of 10. And so we have to use the information that was given to us. 10 is on the inside, so it's a t. So I just have to go 0.8, plug in 10, plus 1.2. If you grab a calculator, you can just type this in. A lot of you will be able to do this in your head, but if sometimes on a test you freak out and you're like, I don't know how to do times 10, that is okay. See how I just typed it in? I just typed in exactly what I wrote. I just typed in 0.8t plus 1.2, replacing the t with the 10, and I get 9.2. Okay, last one, tiny bit harder. Now it says h of t equals 50.8. So I take my h of t equation, I don't know t, and I set it equal to 50.8. Solving for t, you've done this many, many times. Don't be scared by the decimals. You have done this problem many, many times. So after I subtract 1.2, I get 0.8t. I subtract 1.2 to get rid of it from the left side. 50.8 minus 1.2, 49.6. Then divide. When you've got a number touching a letter, that means multiply, so just divide. 49.6 divided by 0.8 turns out to give me t equals 62. It means after 62 days, the plant will be 50 centimeters tall, 50.8 centimeters tall. All right. Okay, next one. All you have to do here is read what letter and what number, meaning f of 12 means use this function and plug 12 in for x. So all we're going to type in is 3 times 12 with parentheses plus 5. So look at that on the calculator. You just write down your answer. F of 12 is It's 41. G of 12 means use this function instead and plug in 12 right there. X squared means 12 squared minus 4. Please just type it in to the calculator. If you want to try to do it in your head, you can, but you're allowed a calculator. F of negative 5 means go back to the first function, replace the letter x with negative 5. Okay. G of negative 5 means look at the g function. Replace the x with negative 5. That's all we're doing. Again, if you want to do it in your head, that's okay. You don't get bonus points for doing it in your head, and you especially don't get bonus points for messing it up in your head. So I would highly suggest just try typing it into a calculator. Okay, to convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius, you can use the following formula. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, write an equation that represents the inverse. That means that we're switching around our letters. So we have 5/9 F minus 32 equals C. What I see is that we're multiplying a chunk of stuff in parentheses times 5/9. So we are going to divide by 5/9 on both sides. So we have, oops, not equals. We have F minus 32 is C divided by 5/9. That way I changed it from being like a slash over here to being a divided by symbol because fractions inside of fractions can be scary. Next, I want to get F by itself, so I add 32 to both sides, and I get F equals, so plus 32, plus 32. Please don't try to combine those. C divided by 5/9 plus 32. That is a correct answer. If you want, maybe you remember that dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So you can write it like this. That's the inverse function. Great. Next one, given the graph of g of x at the right, find the following. G of 3. That means that x is equal to 3. So I go to where x is 3, go up here, the y value is 3. G of 2. I go to where x is 2, and I notice that it's on the x-axis. That means that y is equal to 0. G of 0 means I go to where x is 0, and I notice that the y value again is 0. Last, find the x if you know that g of x is negative 1. Here, they're telling me that the y value is negative 1, and I can see that there's an x value of positive 1. It's not a lot of calculating. It's just knowing that if the number's on the inside, that's an x value. So you look at that point on the x-axis, and if the number's on the outside, that's a y value. Okay, almost done with this video. Here we go. Complete the table with the perimeter of a square for each given side length. So if I have a square, they're going to tell me a side length, and I'm going to find the perimeter. And because it's a square, all 4 sides are the same. And whenever you have a shape, the perimeter is just what you get when you add up all the sides. X plus x plus x plus x. How many x's are there? 4. So I have 4x. If my side length is 0.5, my perimeter is 2. If the side length is 7, my perimeter is 28. I'm just multiplying the number on the left by 4 to get the number on the right. That's the same answer you'll get if you just do that number plus itself 4 times. So P equals 4x, or you can write x plus x plus x plus x. That's not wrong at all. What is the value of P of 9.1? We just do 9.1 is our x value, and we multiply that by 4. Grab a calculator, or try to figure out in your head, you get 36.4. What does it tell us about the side length and perimeter? It tells us that when sides are 9.1 centimeters, the perimeter is 36.4. And then at the end there it says also identify the domain and range. Domain is what x values make sense. Well, is there a smallest side you can have for a square? You could have a 1 inch. Oh, sorry, I said centimeters, but it should be inches here. You could have a 1 inch side length square. You could have a half an inch. You could have a tenth of an inch. You could have 0.00001 inches. It'd just be a really small square. So you can have any positive value for the domain. So you could write your domain like that. Or you could just say all positives, because you can have decimals. Or you could write it like this, x is greater than 0. Those are all the same thing. And same idea for the range. Any positive number makes sense as the range. There is no smallest possible square. So those are all the B level questions. Please let me know if you got any questions. I'm happy to help out.